This is taken out of context. He's talking about the auto industry.
Of course, she's right. But see, this plays out perfectly for Donald Trump. He gets to say rightly, the media took his comments out of context, and the rest of his speech gets largely forgotten. You have to wonder, did Trump deliberately choose bloodbath precisely because he knew the media would overplay it? I don't know. But it wouldn't have been hard to predict, that's for sure. He's already fundraising off it. Campaign email went out today complaining he was viciously misquoted. And by the way, the word bloodbath was already being used in the media related to Trump. It's the way many outlets describe the firings at the RNC as part of the takeover. The media just seems willing to pretend they've never heard. Can you imagine that he used the word bloodbath? He got everything he wanted from this already. Many will see it as an unfair media out to get him again, instead of hearing about other important and even alarming things he said elsewhere in the speech. Will the media ever stop falling into the same trap over and over? Joining us now is John Ziegler, conservative commentator and host of the Death of Journalism podcast. John, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. All right, so what is your reaction to what has happened here and how the media has responded?
Dan, if in a generation from now we still have journalism classes or schools in this country, something I wouldn't bet on, this entire story should be used as a case study for how it is the news media had a catastrophic loss of credibility in vast portions of the American public. You are dead on in what you said, and I take no pleasure in that as an ardent anti-Trump conservative. This happened because of laziness, because of stupidity, and because of extreme bias in the news media, and more infuriatingly than that, it was not corrected because of arrogance and ego. A lot of these same liberal media types, even today, still clinging to this narrative, are a lot like Kate Middleton conspiracy theorists who just won't accept any evidence at all that they're wrong. They are wrong on this, and this is why we have Donald Trump as a Republican presidential nominee for the third straight cycle. And why, Dan, he may actually win. As you said, this plays right into his hands, although I think you're giving him too much credit when you say he might have planned this from the beginning.
Well, by the way, we are going to be talking about the Kate Middleton conspiracies later in the show, so people can stick around for that, helping John Ziegler helping us with that tease. But let me play. This is Joe Scarborough making a comment that I think a lot on the left tend to agree with. This is number 3.
But again, I've never really heard people discuss macroeconomics in terms of bloodbaths. But maybe so. But let's just say, for argument's sake, given the tone of the rest of the speech, bloodbath, I'm not so sure he's talking about the niceties of international trade there. But let's just take that argument as is. Then he goes on and he says, that's going to be the least of it, and repeats it. It's going to be the least of it. Obviously, he's talking about a bloodbath for America.
What happened today, John, on Fox News is they played over and over and over again members of the left-leaning media basically mischaracterizing Trump's comment, and thereby some of the other stuff that he said in the speech, which deserves condemnation, gets ignored.
100% accurate, by the way, for the record. Great minds think alike. I was thinking of Joe Scarborough when I referenced Kate Middleton conspiracy theorist refusing to be proven wrong, and that's where Joe Scarborough is. By the way, Joe Scarborough, a guy who played an incredibly key role in how Trump got the Republican nomination back in 2015, 2016, and now here he is in 2024, lamely trying to make this argument. As far as other parts of the speech, I couldn't agree with you more on that. First of all, as a conservative who wants the Republicans to take back the U.S. Senate, just the fact that he was there in Ohio endorsing the wrong candidate, one who's probably going to lose to the Democrat if he wins the primary, was infuriating. And as a Ron DeSantis supporter, if he really wants to win the election to prevent this bloodbath, why is he still ripping on Ron DeSantis, which isn't going to help him at all, trying to turn DeSantis voters into Trump voters in the fall? This makes no sense at all. But the key point here is the catastrophic loss of credibility in the news media. The news media needs to look inward and understand, why is it that they have created Donald Trump? Why is it they keep playing right into his hand? And it's because of overplaying their hand. Just as you said, this could not be a more perfect example of that. It's infuriating, it's outrageous, and it's a perfect example of the death of journalism in this country.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.